This is gonna be like a 3-part video. It's starter, and then we're gonna say it's the heater hose assembly replacement, the upper radiator hose replacement, thermostat housing installation. And now I was looking inside this throttle body. We're gonna do a throttle body cleaning also. So it's gonna be a good video, man. I hope y'all stick around to the end. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back, everyone. So it's the day after Christmas, man. And we're over here getting into something new. We're gonna start the new year off with, you know, some more stuff to do. So with that, dude, we're over here at my brother-in-law's. Now, y'all have seen the video of me with the Hawk 250, and I was talking about my nephew's 2014 F-150. We did the lower ball joints on it a while back. So, lo and behold, the water pump's going out. Or we thought it was the water pump and the starter. Now, my brother-in-law and my nephew already jumped into tearing it apart. So they got into it before I got here and got started with the video and everything else. I'm gonna show you where they're at. And with that, the starter's going out. So we're gonna go through the process of replacing the starter also while we're here, man. Now, let me walk over here, jump in the garage. I'll show you where the leak was coming from, what we gotta do to get it replaced. We'll get some parts and we'll get it started. So, with the introductory out of the way, y'all sit back and relax, enjoy the content, and here we go with another one. Jumping right into this. Now, they already got the front tore down. This is the inlet pipe it was leaking from, which it was leaking from this O-ring right here. Now, that O-ring is hard, dude. So we're gonna replace that. It should be good to go. We'll go through that process. And then this is the upper radiator hose. It's got a crack in it, so it was leaking from there also. Now we're gonna replace that. I'll give you prices and part numbers once we go get the replacement parts. This is gonna be as simple as finding an O-ring, sticking it in there, and getting it going. Now I'm gonna show you the truck real quick and where we're at. We're disconnecting the battery right now to take the starter out. So they already got it all tore apart. Like I said, they started the fun without me. Son, let me see that pipe. Now you see this hole right here? This is where this pipe come from. Right, just like that, the little mountain bracket right there. That's where it was leaking from. So we're gonna get a new O-ring and put in on here to seal it in here. And then we're gonna put all this back together. Now, yep, give me this piece. From what I hear, this piece was like this right here, which connected to the thermostat housing right here. Right, now we'll go through all that also once we get parts and go back with it, because this piece is cracked right here. Now, with the battery being disconnected, as soon as that's done, we're gonna jump onto this truck and get this starter ripped out of here. And it's crusty. Now, the point of this is that this right here, with it being moist, water activates battery acid. So, with that being said, and it being moist like that, always wipe that off completely before you put your bare hands on there. Got the battery disconnected now. To take the starter out, you got 113 right here. It looks like a 10 millimeter for your ground wire, and it's a 13 for your power wire. So we're gonna start there. We do have the battery completely disconnected. I need a deep socket. Well, if you don't have a deep socket, we can drop back and punt. So just put your socket on there, right? And then stick your ratchet on there. It shouldn't be real tight. Hold your wire.
What is it, 10?
And then there it is. I got it. We always got a way around it, buddy.
Got a deep socket.
See, in that case, you can do it with a shallow socket. It's nice to have a deep, but if you don't, you can do it with the shallow. So there's our power wire. We'll go ahead and put that bolt, that nut back on there. Oh, whoa, socket's going crazy.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna get the 10, which should be your ground right here. Ooh, there it goes. Same thing, when you break it loose, just hold your wire. It shouldn't be real tight, it shouldn't be crazy tight. Just reach up there and put your hand. Voila. I always like to get my wires out of the way first, to be honest with you guys. It saves me even having to deal with them. Put your nut back where it belongs. Keeps you from having to remember. Pull them down out of the way. And then it's a 13 again. This one here you're probably gonna need a little extension for. Get it on there. That one should be a little snug. That's actually a starter mount. It does have a wire on it, but that is an actual starter mount. So it's gonna be, you're gonna have to put a little something on that. And then I'm pretty sure the other one's gonna be on the top side somewhere. I'm gonna have to fill it out. Yep, it's right. It looks like it's right there on the top side of that solenoid, which will be a little easier to get to. So it looks like the bottom one's gonna be a nut. And then there's another one. I need a deep socket, Jeremy. Probably the same, 13. So you're gonna take one nut off for, it looks like a power wire. I don't know, it might be for an amp or something. You might not have this one on your truck. You might not. Deep socket. And then the nut underneath it's also a 13. Just get you a deep socket. Oh man, that thing was tight. There we go. Take that one out. And then there's one on top. That's gonna be a fun one. Just to let y'all know right now.
Got a swivel.
So let me see this camera real quick. All right guys, so it's right here. Let me get this light set up. So you can see, let me see if I can get it in the shot here. It's right here, right? There, did you see the head of that bolt right there? Right here? The bolt's on the back side of that. That's gonna be your second one. So it's a little chore, man. This is the one, dude, you gotta get from the top. I had to work on it a little bit, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. So we're gonna get this bottom one off now. I do believe the starter will come off. If not, there's a third one and we're gonna have a great time finding that one. So let's just be honest. See, because what I'm feeling is that starter's still not moving. So with that being said, there's probably another bolt somewhere. Which ought to be fun. This is the one, so it's got a bolt on top. Like I said, I don't know if yours is gonna have that extra wire, if this was something extra, because that doesn't look like a bolt that would fit there. It might be for an amp or something. I'm not really sure. So that's two. I gotta see, there's gotta be another one somewhere, something's holding it, guys. Something's holding it. Do we have like a hammer or something I can maybe tap on it? It might just be stuck on there. I mean, we gotta.
Tack hammer.
I don't really know. Whoa, what was that? Oh, here we go. We got that old framer. Let's see here. I don't really know. Yeah. Yeah, I think there's one more on top, gentlemen. All right, let's see what we can get into real quick. So this one's gonna be way on top. At least that's what I'm thinking.
You got 3.
Yep, there's definitely one on top. All right. Gotta tell you guys, dude, that's a fight. That was a fight, man. So it's up top. Look at where it's at, dude. It's way up here on the top. Now, I'm gonna climb off underneath here, and then I'm gonna take that camera and show you where it's at on the starter. It is possible with a socket and a ratchet, and an extension, and a swivel. Let me get out from underneath this truck, man. So here's this starter, man. Now it's gonna sit on the truck just like this here. So this is gonna be your bolt with the nut, which like I stated under the truck, I don't know if y'all are gonna have that extra wire or not. You may not. Then you're gonna have a bolt and a bolt. Now when we go back with it, I'm gonna slide my bolt, extension, socket, everything on here and slide it up in there and get that started, right? And then I'm gonna leave it on there and get everything else started and tighten that one up first. So, we gotta jump over here, man, go to the parts store. So we finally made it back in the auto parts, man. That actually became a little adventure, but that's neither here nor there. So, we got, I believe is the upper radiator hose, part number 24857. Y'all know that I shop at O'Reilly, so that's an O'Reilly part. Now this is your heater core. How'd they label it, man? Right here. This is your heater hose assembly piece. Now, the only thing that was bad on this one was the O-ring broke. The only thing different about just a regular O-ring is the O-ring has to be thick enough, right, to fill up that whole groove. I have an O-ring kit, but they wasn't wide enough to fill up that whole groove, so it probably would have still leaked. Now, this here was $167. It's a starter, part number R613128A.
$169.99.
That's how much that was. This here was $32 after tax, which is your heater hose assembly. And like I stated, I just needed the O-ring, but we had to get the whole thing, so we did. Now, that's the parts we got. We're gonna jump under here. We're gonna get this starter back in because it's probably gonna be a little more of a chore than the rest of it we gotta do. And then once we get done with that, we'll jump under the hood and we'll knock it out. So, underneath the truck, man. So the first thing I'm gonna do personally is I took a little bit of WD-40, sprayed on the end of them bolts, and I'm running them into these threads, man. Because I really had to fight this thing getting it off, and a lot of it was rusty threads. So it's what I would consider chasing them or running them. Get a little bit of WD-40 on there and put it in there, make it a little easier going back with it. So the fun part is gonna be the top bolt, just so everybody knows. And I'm not 100% sure how well this is gonna work, guys, so y'all gonna have to bear with me here. on trying to get this up in there and started, but I want to show y'all. So I guess you got a good idea of what you got to do to get yours going. So this is how I'm gonna do it for myself. We're gonna get everything up in here. We're gonna get our starter up in here. And try not to let it fall. I'd hate to hit them new teeth. And then I'm gonna try to hold everything together. See, slide it up in there. And then, I mean, just hope for the best, to be honest with you guys, man. You gotta. Once you get it up in there, man, you get a couple threads on it, you should be good to go. You just gotta get it up in there. This is one of them deals, you just kind of got to fill it out. Well, I'm just going to leave that extension right there for a second. We're gonna get another bolt in here. That'll at least hold that starter up. It won't fall out. Excuse me, won't fall out, hit me in the face. Right, that'll at least hold it. And another thing, it'll also kind of help line up what you got on top. I'm hoping. We gotta be close, gentlemen. Let's see here. Well, I got it wedged up in there, that's for sure, guys. And it's storming outside right now. That always makes for a fun time. All right, we got it pulled back. Now it's still up there and in the bolt hole. We want that. Well, it's definitely being a pain, gentlemen. I think what we're gonna have to do, I'm gonna have to get this old socket and extension back on there. You gotta understand something. I cannot see anything I'm doing right now, gentlemen. Nothing, dude. I cannot see it. So it's on there. We're gonna put this, we're gonna try to get this ratchet on there. That motor mount is right there, dude, it's close. Now all we want to do, guys, if you're gonna do this like I am, you gotta be careful, dude. Do not cross thread your bolt, man. Right? And you should be able to tell if it cross threads. See how it's still easy? It's not tightening up. I'm not fighting it, right? I'm just wiggling this thing around. That's a good sign, because if you cross thread it, it's gonna get tight quick, like real quick. And then if you can, see, once I get the weight off it, I can spin that ratchet by hand. I mean, that extension, I'm sorry. That also lets you know that it did not cross thread. We're gonna run that one in a good ways. So, that's the one I wanted to show you. The rest of them are pretty simple. We're gonna get them bolted up. We'll bolt everything back up. I'll give you one more shot when we're finished, and then we fought it out. Check this out, dude. It is storming, man. So, we're gonna climb out from underneath here, dude. We're gonna get this coolant problem solved, and then, yeah, we're gonna dry off. Okay, so the one thing that you do have to swap is this piece right here. So it just snaps over it, man. I'll go ahead and give y'all a demonstration real quick. I got some pick tools. You can use a little flat blade. You just pick that up like that and hold that over. Slide that underneath the other side, same thing, and it'll pop right off. To put it on the new one, it's a nice and snug fit. Slide it over there until these pieces clip over that lip right there, and you're on there, bud. So I had to get with my brother-in-law. He's gonna have to take me through step by step. He's the one that took all this apart. So our heater hose assembly is gonna go on first. As a matter of fact, I need a little bit of something to put on that O-ring, man. We don't want to put it in there dry. Get a little bit of that juice out of that pan right there and wipe on there. So we just got a little bit of the old antifreeze put on there. That's just so that O-ring will slide in there. You don't want it to tear or grab. So you're gonna line it up, push it in there nice, right? It's gonna take a little bit of force. Don't get crazy with it, right? Boom, you heard it seat. 8mm bolt. Set it down in there, get it started. Get that old extension, bro. I mean, that's simple enough. You just want to push that O-ring down in there nice, easy. Put a little bit of lube on there. Well, for myself, it's just that antifreeze. And then don't get crazy on this steel bolt, aluminum housing, guys. We go through this on them Rams. So it's the same thing with these. Once it's down, man. If it's seated, it's seated. See? That's not it. That's not it at all. Because I'm bottomed out, guys, and it's still loose in there. Well, man, when I ran that down in there that first time, dude, it bottomed out before it was even tight. This still moved. So what I'm doing is I'm dropping back. I'm putting 2 thin washers on there to space it, because I want that thing snug, dude. I don't want it moving around. I don't know if that's a factory deal or if it's just a factory mishap, but I didn't really care for that. I feel like it needs to be at least snug in there. And it had play. I can wiggle it back and forth. That wasn't really what I'm looking for, let's be honest. So I'll line them washers up better, but do you see how it's already snugger than what it was? So this is what I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna back that bag off, right? And I'd like for them washers to be nice. See? I snug that thing down. Don't get crazy. Steel bolt, aluminum housing. Now look at that. That thing is in there, man. That seems to me so much better. So that's what we're gonna go with. Now we're gonna go with the next step. What's next, homeboy? Let's keep it rolling for now, son.
Yeah. What's our new one of these?
Okay, so hold on. So this here you can see the holes in the side here. You got to line it up so it'll grab. Right, so the same hooks that grab onto the hose to keep that clip on there are the same ones that hold this housing on. You got to line them up. You see the cuts in the side. Push down till it clicks. Boom, bada bang. That's in there. Next step.
That hose.
And then we got this hose here, constant tension clamp. Now, I have to ask you, Jeremy.
Yep.
Can we get to this hose after we bolt that thermostat housing up? Because if we can keep this out of the way for now and get your upper, it looks like your upper hose, upper radiator hose or whatever you got going on there, and get this bolted up,
You can.
it would probably be easier that way.
That's
Yeah, I agree.
fine.
All right, let's roll with that. I need the 2 bolts for that.
Hold on. This has got to go on first.
Oh, we're dropping bag of
Let
punch.
me pop this clip out.
No, you don't need to pop that clip out.
Yes, you do.
It's
Not for it to go back in.
Yes. Yeah, for you to snap it in. Yes.
That's not how those work.
You sure?
Yep.
All right. Well, show me something.
All right. Me and my brother-in-law like to argue about things. What can I say? So this has got to go back in first. So this is going to go on here. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to put this on this thermostat first. Here, take these bolts. Why don't I get these bolts here? Take them, bud. So this is what we're going to do. And this is what you heard us talking about in the background, is that clip in there. You see that clip? So you're just going to push that over. You gotta work it over. And it should pop out and let that thing pop on there. Make sure your O-rings stay on there, gentlemen. Where's my piece at? There's the piece. So upon further inspection, the O-rings are already in the new housing. You see both of them right there? That's the same ones that came off the old one. So if the old O-rings are still on the thermostat down here, take them off. You don't need them on there. The new housing comes with new O-rings, which is a bonus. So now we'll line the cut up. I probably don't have to fight it as much. Look at that.
Wiggle, wiggle.
Push that forward. There it is, man. It's clipped on there. So, I knew it couldn't be that hard, guys. I just had to look. I had to drop back and punt, let's be honest.
Front to get it to sink in.
This here?
Yes.
Hold on. Let me get, yeah, my brother-in-law's got a good point. Let me get some more of that juice out of that pan. So we got a little bit of old antifreeze we're gonna put on there too, so it'll go on that snout correctly, you know, and a little easier. And then the constant tension clamp that comes on it's already preset to be open. So that's always a bonus. You ain't gotta fight that. And then let the fun begin. It's really not that bad, gentlemen. Just make sure when you put it on there, it's all the way on there. One way you can tell is look at my thermostat here. Right? You want that thing to butt up. Which we're almost there, but not quite. Yeah. You gotta back that camera up, son. Another way to check if you're there, so if you look right here on the back of this, you see that shoulder right here on that housing? When that hose is touching that shoulder or a little bit over it like that, you also know you're down, because see, look at my thermostat. The housing is right there All I gotta do is bolt it up. Man, so we got these 8s in here, so it's a tight fit, dude. I gotta be honest with you, with this new hose being stiff and rigid like it is, right? So go slow with it, dude. It's the same thing, man. It's a steel bolt going into an aluminum housing. So you wanna go easy. It's awkward on this big old thing, right? And you wanna make sure that you're not stripping it out, because if it starts getting tight, you probably cross-threaded. You need to back up and do it again. So at that point, and at the same time, because you have to flex this hose, you want to run them in evenly. So don't just run it down and cram it down and come in. Other side, same thing. Man, I like to go with the come down evenly principle so you get a good seal. It is an O-ring in there, but that doesn't really matter to me. See, we're snug. I hear my brother-in-law over here whispering. And then we're snug. So another thing with an O-ring is that you know that you don't have to get real crazy on it. Just good and snug. If you have any leaks, man, just snug it up. I mean, come on, it's an O-ring. Get it to seal. And voila, we're there. So the last thing I gotta do, I gotta pop this constant tension clamp right here. We gotta get on that.
You do it.
Yeah, need it, Jeremy.
There she be.
And there it is. Popped on there good. You can see there's rubber behind it, and so it'll seal right. And then as it warms up, that constant tension clamp will steadily clamp on that hose and give you a good seal. With that, and well, I said that. So now we can put this on, right? Our thermostat housing's on, bolted up tight so it's out of the way. We can get this put on, clamp moved over. We can get this one right here. Look, this is simple. This is simple. Same principle, right? Slide it on all the way.
It's got that slit too.
And it's the same thing. It's got the same cut to pull out your piece. Hold it in there, push it in. If it goes down like that properly, you're in there. All we got to do is have some fun. So this is going to be like a 3-part video. It's starter, and then we're going to say it's the heater hose assembly replacement, the upper radiator hose replacement, thermostat housing installation. And now I was looking inside this throttle body. We're gonna do a throttle body cleaning also. So it's gonna be a good video, man. I hope y'all stick around to the end. It's just one plug. You can look at this. You just depress the tab right here, slide it off. 4 8mm, just like on them Rams. And then we'll slide it off of there. I'll click y'all back on. We'll clean it real quick. I'll give you a good shot. I'll clean it, give you another shot, put it back on, fire the truck up. So we got this thing pulled off, man. It was real simple. I mean, it's pretty much just like the Rams, 4 8mm that comes off. We checked our housing. It wasn't too bad, so I wiped it out a little bit, but look at this throttle body. Right? The front's not so bad, but look at that ring in there. So this is the same principle, everyone. See that ring? Now you have a throttle positioning sensor in your electronic throttle control piece right here. So we don't want to spray cleaner on it directly, and we don't want to get crazy moving this real quick or putting a lot of pressure on it. You don't want to bend the flap. You don't want to mess up your TPS. So let me get this cleaned up. All right, guys, so it's been a few hours, man. So we put everything back together, dude. We went to put water in it, or antifreeze in it, and lo and behold, it was leaking. So I'm gonna show you where it was leaking from and tell you what the parts guy told us at the parts store about these fittings, at least on these F-150s. So I'm gonna show you this, right? This is the old one here. Now, if you look at the old one, that light don't do any good.
Yeah, you just turned it off.
And Oh, it's on now. Do you see how worn down it is and how flat it looks? And then you look at this one and it's got a little rigidity to it. I don't even know if that's a word, but we're gonna go with it. But with that, man, we're gonna snap it back together. So the parts guy told us that with them couplings and them O-rings, them Teflon, because it looks like a Teflon O-ring in there, they're one-time use. So once you run the truck a few times and you pull it off, it's pretty much gonna leak if you don't buy a new one. So with that, we had to go down and get another one. We're gonna reinstall everything, put fluid back in it, and before we fire it up and in this video, we got some things we gotta do. All right, man, so we got the overflow jug topped off here and it's not leaking. It was leaking from right here, so obviously the parts guy was right in a one-time use. So we got the starter replaced, we got the throttle body clean, we got it full of fluids. Now we're gonna fire it up. I don't know what the starter was doing, I wasn't here, well, to know. So let's put this battery back on here and give this thing a go. Here we go, man. Fire it. Thing fire right up. Sounds like we got a wet belt down there. That starter sounded good. We got no water leaking, that's a good thing. Hold on. Alright. It's looking clear down there, guys. I don't see any drip. So we got it backed out, man. It's running good. It's not leaking. We're gonna let it run until it does a complete heat cycle. Take that off so it doesn't build pressure. And then we're gonna check for any leaks once the thermostat opens up. We have no drips. The starter sounds fantastic. So they said that the starter was real slow, like the Bendix was going out in it. I didn't get to hear that, so we didn't go through it. Now I'm gonna go through the parts that we replaced, and that'll be that. So let me walk over here to this table. Now, so this here is the coolant hose assembly for a 2014 Ford F-150 with the 5.0 liter V8. That's what we're working on. This here is the coolant hose assembly, right? Thermostat goes on this side, upper radiator hose goes on this side, and this goes to the engine block. This here's your heater hose assembly. It goes on there, it's pretty self-explanatory. Now, when we went back with it, I bottomed that bolt out and it was still loose. So I put a couple of washers, got it that sit down secure the way I feel like it should be. So far, so good. Now, with the upper radiator hose, if you have to replace this right here and it's leaking or it breaks, and you break the seal on this Teflon bushing in here, you're gonna have to buy a new one. It will not seal on this again. It will leak past. So we had to do that. So we replaced the heater hose assembly, the coolant hose assembly, the upper radiator hose because of the Teflon bushing in there, and the starter. So all that together come out to be about 450 bucks. That's no labor. Y'all know I'm not charging anything, dude. So with all that, dude, the truck fires nice. The starter sounded good. Y'all heard that. So far, no leaks, no nothing. Clean the throttle body. It seems to idle really nice now. So with all of that, fellas, keep living the dream, doing your thing. Like and subscribe. Always hit your boy with a comment, and I'll catch you on the flip side.